Alright, in this bonus video, I'm going to demonstrate how to change the theme of a game. And when I say change the theme, I mean change the images, the fonts, etc. when you already have it. And this is something that ideally you do before you start. So what I have here is a fork of my advanced Adventures of Mario program here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it into the Adventures of R2-D2. And the primary thing I'm going to do is swap out images and sound effects to give it a Star Wars theme, but I'm also going to add some unique characteristics to it as well. Now, this is a process that you should kind of do methodically and slowly, so I'm going to start by just uploading all of my images and sound effects and everything I have for R2 and substituting them where they should be for this game. But that's also going to involve changing some variables because I'm not necessarily going to have an exact duplication of my Mario game. Also, it's one thing to upload all the images, but if you change the variable names, that means you have to go through your code and find everywhere where your variables are listed. And again, that's something that really you need to do with patience. And I'm going to do that in this video, but I'm going to do part of it as a time lapse, so that way it's not like you're watching me just copy and paste a million times, because this is probably going to take 30 minutes to 45 minutes to really convert this entire program because of how extensive the program is. Again, ideally, you do this from the start, but if you want to change your theme, if you want to change something like that, this is how you do it. So let's start by replacing all of our images and files. And in theory, you could actually upload all of your Star Wars files along with your Mario files. But if you look, you only have so much space available. So if you're running out of space, you can't do that. And then you might also get your space mixed up. So I'm actually going to, before I do any of this, actually, I'm going to rename this program so I don't get it confused with my other program. So I'm going to call this Adventures of R2-D2. And this is a theme change from Adventures of Mario Advanced Bonus. All right, so let's go ahead and submit that. So that way we have a nice name change here. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and change some of the comments here as well. So this is Adventures of R2-D2. Okay, looks good. All looks good. Let's go ahead and save that. Now I am going to delete all of my files, which is going to cause a lot of chaos and a lot of errors. So you know that the code works. So now we just have to get the files put back and everything replaced to make sure that we can restore the code here. All right, so I'm not necessarily writing any new code. I'm just going to do a lot of substitution. So there goes all my Mario files, lots of free space. I'm going to drop in all of my Adventures of R2-D2 files here. Now, I'm not necessarily doing an exact recreation. So one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not actually going to have R2-D2 stepping left, stepping right. He's going to be looking left, looking right, or jumping, but I don't have walking images like I did for Mario. I'm also going to replace the numbers for the points and the coins and the lives with actually images. But we're going to get into that after we replace all of our images. So before I start playing around with variables, let's just scroll down to our preload. Let's scroll down to our preload and let's just start replacing image names. So my Mario image, this is now going to be R2-D2 underscore right dot PNG. And I'm actually going to use that quite often. So R2-D2 underscore right is also going to be my image for Mario right 1, Mario right 2, because again, I'm not doing a walking code, and Mario still is now all R2-D2 right. For my left, that's going to be R2-D2 underscore left.png. And I'm going to drop that in for left 2 as well. Jump is now going to be R2-D2 underscore jump, I believe. Let's see, where's that on my list? No, flying underscore flying is now my jump image. And I just realized I did capital D's for all of these. These should be lowercase d's. Okay, looking good. Platform is not going to be bricks, Mario bricks. Instead, now that is going to be rock.png for the platform. R2D2 stuck in a cave. Landscape, that's now going to be cave underscore background dot JPG. Jump sound is now jet underscore sound dot M4A. Coin, or I'm sorry, font, Mario font is going to be, let's see, pixel underscore bubble underscore font. And I actually have two fonts, so I'm going to drop in two fonts, but I'll do that later. Right now I'm just replacing what's here. The coin, R2D2 is not collecting coins. Instead, he's collecting batteries or energy. So energy.png. Coin sound. When you get a coin, that's going to be R2D2's happy sound.m4a. Bad guys, we don't have Mario Goombas. Instead, we have battle droids. So this is going to be, how do we spell battle droid? Let's see. Battle underscore droid.png. Life sound, this is when you lose a life. So that's going to be hurt underscore sound.m4a. Win sound, that's going to become, I believe, victory underscore sound.m4a. Lose sound is now dark side underscore sound.m4a. Power up, there is not going to be a power up. So let's just leave, I guess we're going to have to delete that code. So for power up, let's just ditch that guy. All right. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll add a power up. We'll see. We'll add this later. For now, we're just going to comment that out. Let's see. And theme song. Let's go load sound. What is it? 8-bit underscore cantina underscore theme dot mp3. And no, I decided I'm not going to do power up. Here we go. So there we go. So now in theory, the only thing I have to go ahead and I have to delete is all the power up, because I'm not going to have a power up on my R2D2 code. So let's find everywhere we put power up. It's not going to be in level 2. It's only going to be in level 1. Here's our power up. Let's ditch that. And then I'm pretty sure that's going to be referenced somewhere else as well. Let's make sure that we're not. Yes, our Goomba. It's going to be referenced in all of our Goomba code for level 1. So let's see. We don't need the if power up is true anymore. So we're going to ditch that. Don't need if power up is true because there is no if power up is true. Ditch this and this. Probably would have been easier if I just put a power up. I'm not sure. Do I have that in Goombas for level 2? Let's see. Hopefully not. Goomba level 2. No, there's no power up for Goomba level 2. Good. All right, and then let's just go through and delete the power up variables. And I believe that should be it here. Let's see. Power variables, images. Don't need any of that. That's all good. That's good. That's good. That's good. We don't need power up. And we don't need power up. Let's give this a try. All right, font's big, but sounds good. Images are good. Sound effects are good. Our positions are a little off for the bottom droid, so our bottom ground is a little off. But overall, looks like that's working pretty well. So next step is we've got to tweak all of our positions and our variables. Now, in theory, you could leave all these variables the same. So who cares if it says Mario versus R2 or whatever, but I'm going to clean this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take player one's going to stay the same. So all that's fine. My boxes, my platforms and my boxes, we're going to, we'll leave those B. All right, so that's going to stay the same. Wall barriers is going to stay the same. Coins, I'm now going to change that to E because that's for energy. So C becomes E for energy instead of coins. Okay, so that's something we're going to change. We haven't used D yet, so Goombas. G becomes D for droids. Let's see, score, lives, all that's fine. That doesn't have to change. Game time doesn't change. Jump doesn't change. Gravity doesn't change. And then we're just going to change some of these image names. So Mario becomes R2D2. Mario font changes. Goomba becomes droid. So coin becomes energy. Coin sound becomes energy sound. Goomba droid. Flying sound, jump sound can stay the same, life sound, win sound, lose sound, all that can stay the same. We're just going to change a couple of things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change one variable at a time. So for example, let's start with all of these coins. So this is now all going to become E, 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 all the way down here. And technically this is not necessary because we've already kind of converted our images. But what is necessary is keeping yourself nice and organized. So if you are committed to completely changing your theme, you should really go through and change your variables. So that was the easy part up here in global. Now I have to scroll down to my code, and every single C has to become an E throughout my code. So I'm going to do this as a time lapse for all the coins, all the Goombas, and these couple other variables here for images. And again, I'm going to do that as a time lapse so that way you don't have to watch me do this. All right, so I've successfully updated all my variable names, changing it to now be appropriate to my R2D2 game. I've pressed play, and I've tested it out, and I've grabbed every coin and every bad guy. I have the background music disabled right now, just because it's not totally needed. The next step is to now to customize this and adapt. So for example, these energy things can be a little bit bigger, the text should be a little bit smaller, the droid positions are a little off, and the bottom ground's a little off. So I'm going to start to adjust some positions. So my E size my energy size, I'm going to go 50 pixels wide and 40 pixels tall. So let's just press play, see what that looks like. That's much better. All right, and they should still work the same for grabbing them. I want to make my droids just slightly larger. So that's my D width and my D height. The width I like. The height I want to step it up to 90. Make them a little bit taller because they are noticeably taller than R2 in the movies. Okay. And now my bottom, if we look, we're floating above the ground. So that's my minimum height. I got to adjust that guy. So it's fine. That's in gravity. So min height, we got to move a little bit closer. Let's try 400. Nope, still floating. Let's try 410. All right, there we go. So now we're on the ground. And then my droid positions all have to change a little bit here. So let's do level 1 first. So droids for level 1 are D1 and D2. So D1 has to move down a bit. Let's try that. And D2, I think, has to move up a little bit. Let's try something like this. All right, D2 is way too high. Way too high. Let's try 80. So I'm looking at this droid top up here. Let's try 90. There we go. So now he's walking on the platform. So that looks good. Let's do level 2. To make my life easier, I'm actually going to just go ahead and set the stage to constantly be in level 2. So that's stage 4. So that way I don't have to win level 1 each time I'm adjusting my level 2 positions. So let's see. This guy down here, he's got to move down, and all these droids have to move up. So let's figure out who they are. So my lowest droid appears to be D3, so he's got to move down to say 410. And let's just see if that works for that bottom guy. Yep, he's on the ground. And all these look like they have to proportionally move up by, say, 10 pixels or so. So let's just grab all of these. Let's go 260, 90, and 60 and see if that fixed. Yep, that looks good. And it looks like my energy packs are a little bit too close on the ones that are right next to each other. So let's find my energy packs for level 2 that are right next to each other. So we're looking for similar Ys. So these two are next to each other. This 250, 250. So let's move them farther apart. So let's make this 360 and 440. And these two are next to each other because my Ys are the same. So that's 80, 80. Let's make this 160 and 240. Let's see if that moved those energy packs farther apart on the rock. That looks good. Very good. All right. Lovely. I also want to increase my droid distances a little bit, so let them move farther on the platforms. So that would be my D distances for D2. Let's make that 70. And then all my Ds that are my distances that are 50 are now going to become 70. I'm going to leave the ones that are on the ground the same. But I want my platform droids to be able to walk all the way from end to end. That looks a little bit better. Cool. Awesome. Let's talk about fonts. So I have 2 fonts now. So actually let's fix this so we can see our splash screen again. So let's go back to stage 0. I have a title font and a sub font. So let's go to our splash screen. I've already dropped the fonts in, but they're way too big. So let's try 50 for my title font and 20 for my sub font. See if that looks a little bit better. Sub font looks good. Title font still a little bit too big. So let's try 40 for Adventures of Mario. That looks good, although I guess my title font or my sub font, we can make my instruction font right here a little bit smaller. So text, size, let's make this 10. And let's make this 20. So let's break up the sizing a little bit better. How to play, that all looks good. We're going to move those closer together here. Jason Interprog. let's just ditch that whole part here. We don't need that. Adventures of R2D2. And these guys, we're just going to move these closer together because we made the text significantly smaller. So let's make this 270, that's fine. Let's make that 290, 310, and 330, and let's make that 400. See how that looks. Better, maybe a little bit farther spread out. So let's go 300, 330, 360, and I actually want to make this my title font. Text, font, title, font. Okay, looks good, but that's obviously way too big. Let's make this guy 20, 415. There we go. Good. Change Goombas to watch out for droids. Watch out for battle droids. Obtain all the energy packs before time runs out. Perfect. All right, so that looks good. Now on our levels, this time's off. I'm actually going to replace the lives and the points with images, but I'm going to get into that in a little bit here. Let me just see. I want to see my droid looks like he's going off the edge a little bit. So my D1 distance is a little off. Where's D1 distance? D1 distance. Let's make you 60 instead. All right. So let's go play with our time remaining font, and then we'll get into changing the lives and all that stuff. So let's find where we put time remaining. In both levels, we're going to have to do this. So I already changed it to sub font, but we're going to make the size 10. See what that looks like. It's a little bit too small. Make it 15. Better. Let's move it up a little bit. So time remaining, let's make it 30. And we have to make this like 750. Move that over. Good. Forgot to move this up. 30. And actually, why don't we try, what does it look like if we do text, font, title, font for just the numbers. Yeah, that looks cool. We got to change the size though. Text, size, 30. Looks good. Let's move it over a little bit. 720, and let's move both these down just a little bit. Awesome. That looks good. Let's copy and paste these things. So let's remember what we just did. So we did text size 15, text size 30, and title font. I'm actually just going to borrow this right here. Why don't we just borrow all this code. Oops. And let's go find that in level 2. So level 2, I think we did that at the top of level 2. Yes, we did. Right here. So let's just paste this just to steal our numbers. So text font, sub font, text size is going to be 15. Then we're going to drop in our title font right here, like so. And let's just grab our positions from this, just borrowing it from our level 1. And then we got to ditch this because we don't actually want that twice. Cool. So just to check it out real quick, let's see if we can get to level 2. Watch out for my droid. Yeah, looks good. All right, lives. So for the lives, I'm thinking something a little bit different. Now I'm going to leave the same structure, and we'll do level 1 first here before we worry about level 2. What I'm thinking is instead of displaying the lives, So I'm just going to hide all this text here to display the lives, and I'm going to do the same for displaying the points. Okay, I'm not going to delete anything yet, just in case I change my mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place an image here for like a loading bar and try to drop in boxes and things like that. So let's go ahead and make a couple more variables. So let's make variables for images. Let's see, appearance of world. Let's put lives, I know we'll just put that here. So objects, energies, etc. So we're going to put var life bar. That's going to display amount of life we have. Var energy bar, display amount of energy we collect. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop those images in to our function preload. Okay, so life bar is equal to load image. Don't remember what I called it, so let's check it out in our files menu. Health bar is what it's called. Health bar dot png, and then energy bar, I think is what we called it, equals load image. Looks like I actually haven't uploaded this image yet, so let's grab those. Let's see. Adventures of R2D2. Where did I save that? I think I put that on my desktop. Energy level 1 and level 2. I actually have two different images because you have a different amount of energy to collect in level 1 and level 2. So we'll call this energy bar 1, and we'll do load image energy underscore lvl1.png, and then we'll just copy this guy. We'll have to go change our global or variables here, obviously. So that'll be energy level 2. Great. Let's go add that in global before we forget. So energy bar 1. In level 2, energy bar 2. Awesome. Now, let's make some variables. So where do we put our counters for level 1, counters for level 2? Okay, we need a couple variables here. So we're going to call this LB for life bar X, and we're going to set this equal to like 10, somewhere in the top right corner. LB stands for life bar, and I guess we can show this LB1. Okay, because we're going to have it for level 2. Var LB2 y, or LB1 y equal to, say, 35. Var LB1, or LB width, let's make it 40 pixels wide. Var LB height, let's make it 30 pixels tall. And then let's do the same for our energy bar. So var EB1X, we're going to make that to the right. I don't know, let's just try something like 70. We're going to change all these as we actually look at it. EB stands for energy bar, var EB1Y. Let's make that 35. Var EB1 width, there's going to be two different widths because there's two different size bars, but the height can be the same. So EB1 width, we're going to make that, let's just try the same for now. Let's try 50. And var EB height, let's make that 30. All right, I'm not going to bother with level 2 yet. We're going to just do level 1. And let's actually just go ahead and skip the splash screen and lock us into stage 1 for level 1. So we can just edit this pretty quickly. So let's find where we put our scoreboards and stuff down here. So here's our scoreboard. So now what we're actually going to do for the points, that's going to be image, image, energy bar 1 at EB1X, EB1Y, EB width, or EB1 width, and EB height. And then lives is going to be image, life bar at LB1, or just LBX, or no, it is LB1X, LB1X, LB1Y, LB width, and LB height. Let's see if that worked. Awesome. There they are. A little bit hard to see. So we got to move them over, and I'm thinking about adding a, gray bar here. So let's see what we do. First, let's move them over a little bit. That's easy. So X position, let's make this 150, and let's make this 30. Press play real quick. All right, 150 is a little much. Put that back to being 100. And the width here doesn't seem to be quite right. So let's make this 60 and 100. Better. Let's try to make this 100. Looks good, except we got to move them over now. Kind of a lot of back and forth here. Let's try 50, 150. Getting closer. Oops, changing the width, not the position. Let's try that. Way too far, but that looks like the right size. Perfect. Okay, now they're hard to see, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some type of gray rectangle to my appearance here, and this is something that we're going to have to paste on both levels if we like it. So appearance of game, here's our image, here's our background. I'm actually going to make this 0 for black, so that's going to be the surrounding area around our image. Window frame, blah, 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 blah. Let's add a gray rectangle. So let's go fill. Let's go something like 200, so it's nice and light gray. Gray, and let's just do rect. Width divided by 2, 20. Height, what am I doing? What do we want to do for the width? We're going to do width, and then we're going to do something like 40. See what that does. Yeah, that looks good. It's not big enough, but that looks good. Let's make it 60 tall. That looks good, except we just want to run away. Move these guys up a little bit, so that way we can see them a little bit better. I was thinking I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Try something like 180. Let's actually drop in a stroke of black. Stroke. Weight 3. See if that looks better. Looks good. Change our Y positions here. Move them up a little bit. 25. 25. How does that look? Much better. Gonna move our numbers or our time down a little bit, but that looks good. I think we have to move this guy over just a little bit. Let's see. Let's go 60 and 160. Perfect. So while we're here in global, might as well do some copying and pasting. So let's just copy all of this here for level 2. And we're going to be able to delete some of this. So this becomes LB2, LB2, LB width, LB height. That doesn't change, so we'll leave that. However, this becomes EB2, 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 and the big thing is that the width grows for that guy because the energy bar for level 2 is a little bit bigger. All right, here we go. Let's then copy this gray bar to our second level. Okay. And then let's copy our energy images. So we need this guy. I guess we could just rewrite those. So let's go find where they go. Lives, lives, lives. So we don't need any of this anymore. Instead, image lb2x, comma lb2y, comma lb width, comma lb height for you. And scoreboard is going to be image eb2x, comma eb2y, comma eb2 width, comma eb height. Awesome. That should be good. Let's adjust our we don't need any of this anymore, so we can ditch that. That was the written, but we don't need any of that. Let's adjust our game time real quick. Move this down 40. Let's do that in level 2 as well. See how that looks. Good for level 1. Oops. Oh, I got it. Uh-oh. Draw image, something, something, something. Looks like I messed that up. Oh, you know why? Image, we forgot to put energy bar 2 here. And we forgot to put life bar here. Easy mistake. All right. Let's just go up to our global and switch this to level 2 to try that out. So stage 4 looks pretty good, except that we have to move our energy bar over a little bit because it's a little bit longer. So energy bar for level 2 has to move over. So EB2X, let's try 200. Much better. All right, looks good. Now what I want to do is I actually want to create boxes that appear in those bars. So now we just have to create some variables, right, for the little health boxes. So I'm going to use the name H for the health boxes. So this is going to be health box is for level 1. So we'll say var h1x, and I'm going to set this equal to be the same as lb1x. Var h1y is going to be equal to lb1y. Var h width, let's make I don't know, 20 pixels wide. Var h height, let's make 10 pixels tall. All right, so there's our variables. We'll just start with one health box. Let's scroll down to our game level 1. Let's find where we put our lives. So we'll say draw health boxes. We'll go red fill for health. No stroke. And let's just draw a rectangle with those variables. So we'll say h1x, h1y, h width, and h height. And let's see what that looks like. That's pretty good. Size is wrong, but that's where we want it to be. Let's try reversing those numbers. So let's go up to global here. So let's go, where are they? Let's see, here we go. H height, let's make them actually, let's make them, I don't know, 30 wide, 20 tall. Let's go 10 wide, 20 tall, see what that looks like. That's pretty perfect. So there's our first little box right there. Let's go ahead and add a second box. So our h2x is going to be equal to h1x plus h width divided by 2. Because they're just going to offset it. And then var h2y is going to be equal to h1y. So they have the same y position. And there's only 2 health boxes for level 1. You only have 2 health. So let's go ahead and drop in a second rectangle. Just copy this, paste it. So it's h2x, h2y. We're not getting a box there unless they're overlapping. h2x, h2y. Let's see if we have to move that over a little bit. h1x plus width. Let's just see what happens if we just do lb1x plus 10. See if that works a little bit better. Looks like it's growing. Let's go plus 20. Okay, that looks better. Too much though. Plus 15. All right, there we go. So there's our 2 health boxes. Let's set the same thing up. Actually, I guess let's start and make them disappear. So there's the tricky part. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically make if statements where if your lives are equal to 2 lives, well then you can see 2 boxes. If your lives are only equal to 1 life, then you can only see 1 box. And if your lives equal to 0, you lose, which is already set up, which is nice. So we're still going to use the existing counter from our Mario program to keep track of lives. But instead of actually displaying a number, we're going to use it to control the location of these boxes. So here we go. Live box control. So if, let's see, what do we call it? Live. I don't remember what we called our variable. Let's see what we called our lives real quick. Counter lives. Just lives or lives 1? Lives. All right, so if lives is equal to 2, if lives equals 2, well then h1x equals h1x, h2x equals h2x, close lives equals 2. If lives is only equal to 1, that means that h2x has to go off the screen. So we're going to go negative 1,000. Move health box off screen. Let's see if that works. Let's go lose a life here. Come here, droid. There we go. Only 1 life box, and then obviously I lose. Oh, and look at that. I never adjusted the font size for the win and lose screens. All right. I guess let's do our fonts for win and lose screens while we're here, right? So where's our win screen? Win screen, and lose screen. Change our fonts. Win screen, text size, 50 and 50. We'll see if that works a little bit better. There we go. All right, looks good. Now, for the energy, it's going to be kind of similar, but instead of where when we lose a life, a box goes away, we start with no boxes displayed, and we gain them. But we have to start with some variables and drawing our boxes. So for the first level, I believe there are 4 coins, or 3 coins. Let's see how many coins we have here. Coins, coins, coins. Let's see. Energy for level 1, we have 4. All right, so that means we need to make 4 energy boxes. We're going to call those energy boxes for level 1. Forgot my little name here. H1 for health box 1. We need to think of something other than E to use. So let's just say T for Thunderbolt. I don't know. That works for me, or G. We'll do G for energy. So G1X, and we're going to start with the same kind of naming theme that we did for the health boxes. So we're going to say this is equal to EB1X. So G1 for energy box 1 var g1y is equal to eb1y var g width is equal to the same as health box width, and var g height is equal to the same as health box height. All right, so let's just get one set, and then again, finding the offsets is going to be much easier. So let's draw this guy on our screen for level 1. Here we go. Energy boxes. We're going to go fill green for the energy. And we're just going to do rect. What do we do? G1x, comma, G1y, G width, and G height. What did I do? It's not called G height. Spelled something wrong. While we're down here, instead of me having to scroll back and forth a bunch of times, I'm going to paste in all of these guys and just comment them out. Just the way we have them. Let's go back up to global, see what I spelled wrong. H height. Nope. G height. There we go. All right, there's one box. In the wrong spot. We got to move them over to the left. So we're going to say EB1X minus, let's try 10. Let's go minus 12. 15. Awesome. Let's get our remaining variables in here. So var g2x is going to be equal to let's just try eb1x. Great. Var g2y is going to be equal to eb1y. Var g3x eb1x plus 15. Var g3y is going to be equal to eby, eb1y, and var g3x, or g4x, is going to be equal to eb1x plus 30. Var g4y is going to be equal to eb1y. All right, let's go uncomment some rectangles down here and see how off our numbers are. Let's just do one at a time. Perfect. On a roll. What just happened? Why are you not? Oops, I never changed it to G3. That's why. G3, G4. Looking good. Maybe 4 for 4. Excellent. All right. Now, all those have to go away unless we grab these guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in some more if statements. Okay. If, so energy box control. All right. If, lots of copying and pasting here. If score equals 0, we're going to do G1x equals negative 1000. G2x, G3x, and G4x, so therefore close 0. Off the screen. No boxes. Press play. We have 0 points, so we have 4 boxes. What just happened? Negative 1000, negative 1000, negative 1000. G1x, G1x, if score equals 0, typo in my if statement. Great. No boxes. So we're going to copy and paste this whole if statement here 4 times. Okay, so if close 4, score equals 4, 4 boxes, 3 boxes, score equals 3, 2, 2, 2, and 1, 1, 1. All right, as we get a box, what we have to do is we have to set the position back to what we set it as in global. So the first box here, G1X, its original position was EB1X minus 15. All right, and that's what it's going to be because box 1 is always going to be there. Now we're just going to drop that in here, here, and here for box 1. Box 2 is going to show up when we have two boxes, and box 2's original position was just EB1X. So let's grab this guy and drop this in place for 2, 2, and 2. Box 3 appears when we have three boxes, so that's going to be EB1X plus 15. Grab that for this one as well. And box 4 appears all the way down here, and that was EB1X plus 30. Okay, let's press play and grab some coins. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Awesome. That was a good time to save. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop into another time lapse here and essentially do the exact same thing, but for level 2. Lots of copying and pasting with some slight different positions, primarily for the energy, because there's going to be 6 energy boxes, and the position of the energy box on level 2 is slightly different. So here's another time lapse. All right, so after doing lots of copying and pasting and some minor changes with the X position, primarily for the energy boxes for level 2, I now have a very similar program in level 2 where if the score is equal to however many points, I'm displaying a certain number of boxes. I also added a third health bar because you have 3 health bars. So if we go ahead and if we play our game here, we have 15 seconds on level 1. You can see how the health bar increases. If I lose a life, it goes away, and then here we go. Oops, lost the life bar. 30 seconds and 3 lives. Only 1 life left here. Oh, this is the hard one. Ah, so close. But there we go. So theme changes from starting with Mario and then going to R2. Again, it's ideal if you have your theme before you start, but being able to import additional images, change your variable names, all doable, especially if you want to add a little finishing touch or something to make the game unique, like custom fonts or whatever it might be. There you go.